part 3 of the time I became a Jehovah's Witness and married a member of the congregation, only to find out later that he was a pedo. So he folds like a deck of cards, and the first thing that he says is, he starts crying and he says, I have a pornography addiction. And at first, I started laughing inside because I'm thinking, I wasn't raised as Jehovah's Witness. I'm worldly considered, compared to them. So part of my brain's kind of thinking, well, yeah, no shit, you're 20 years old. I'm sure whatever you think is addiction is really just the norm. So I kind of was chalking this up to, oh, sweetie, you have no idea what you're talking about right now. This is not an issue. And we're just going to kind of mosey on and work through this and we'll be fine. He agreed that he wouldn't be going to the conference that weekend and that he would commute from our place to that conference. And we went to bed fine. But y'all, I was still being spiritually disturbed because I could not sleep, like at all. There is no sleeping. I wake up in the middle of the night, tell me why, at like 2 a.m. with this, again, sensation, but like this time it just sat in my chest and it traveled to my stomach. And I was like, there's weight here and I'm not satisfied with that answer. No, I'm no longer satisfied. I think it's bigger than that. And from 2 a.m. to, we typically would get up around, 6:30. From 2 to 6:30, I was just head on the side of my pillow, eyes wide open, could not sleep. So he wakes up, I've been up, and you guys, I am itching. I'm like, what? It's to the point to where I'm no longer going to chalk things up to I'm projecting things because of my upbringing. I'm like, this feeling is so in me right now that I have no choice but to spit it out. And I go make a pot of coffee. I'm drinking coffee. I'm pacing back and forth where our dining room table is. I'm just pacing. He's making coffee. He's quiet. And then he slowly starts to approach me and ask if everything's okay. And I don't know. I didn't even think about getting the words out, you guys. What I just said was I turned around. I just remember turning around and looking at him and saying, you're lying to me. And the look he gave on his face was kind of like, what are you talking about? But also, how do you know? And I just remember giving him a blank stare and then reiterating what I had said. And I was like, you're lying to me? And the truth comes out right now. So I don't let up. I keep pressing it. And I keep saying, you're lying to me. God knows you're lying. You're keeping something from me. You need to come out with it and come out with it now. This may be your only opportunity. As I kept repeating that, this man-child took about 2 steps back, dropped to the ground, and immediately went into a hyperventilating cry. And as soon as he did that, boom, my brain flashed back to the time he was wrestling with those kids, to the time I had all those uncomfortable feelings. They all came up to my chest, and I didn't feel 1 ounce of sympathy for him. I just knelt down next to him, and I looked at him, and I said, look at me. And he did. And then I go, I know what you did. And so then he continues to explain how it's that kind. And you ever hear information where you're so shocked? I mean, I came from a terrible upbringing, you guys, so I'm not shocked by much. But I've never experienced this, especially with somebody who's so young. Like when you hear about this, they're usually older. And so I'm over here thinking, I thought I'd seen it all, but I guess not. And I'm having somebody that I went through a courtship with, I married, and that I believed I was just projecting things into our relationship. And here I am, and now the mess is also in my lap. And now I'm looking at this person, and he's explaining to me how it's not what I thought it was last night. It's more than that. And not only is it more than that, this content he was viewing at his parents' place of work. They have 2 locations, and that's not all. Remember how I told you guys that in part 2, I had a full-time job? Well, at 19 years old, being a year out of high school, I had gotten a job as a team lead at a Starbucks. And so I was a barista. Your girl was a barista. And I would work these crazy shifts. I mean, like a 1 to an 11. I'd be there for such a long time. And I would go door to door in the morning, and I would come home during lunchtime, change, and then head to work. So I was gone a lot of the time. I was never at home. Well, because of my work schedule and because I was working till 11, by the time he would get off of work, which was, maybe like a typical 5 or 6 o'clock, he would actually drive to the Starbucks and hang out with me sometimes, and he would bring his Bible, and sometimes he'd bring his tablet, and while I was at work. And at the time, I kind of was like, oh, this is really cute. He's spending time with me. Like, we just spend so much time with each other. So much time. So when he was telling me all this, he said, and that's not the only thing. And I'm like, what do you, I'm with you. So, like, what do you mean? He dropped this bomb, you guys. That he would visit me just so I wasn't suspicious, because prior to coming to visit me, he would get off of work. Sometimes he didn't even go into work that day. Sometimes he was off early. And he would then frequent the retail stores, and he would take upskirt videos, and he would go into dressing rooms and upskirt videos and all this stuff of people, and then come back home, do his stuff, and then clean up, pack up, and just come and visit me and bring the Bible with him. And then he would study the Bible. After he got done doing all that, he would sit in the Starbucks and study the Bible while all of that was going on. And you guys, I still haven't even scratched the surface. There's so much more.